The Lord of the Rings Online, or LOTRO, is an MMORPG released in 2007, and it remains, in my humble opinion, one of the best adaptations of Tolkien's world. In this video I will try to show you the hidden, or not so hidden details that make the world of LOTRO so immersive and lively. This time we'll take a look at the Trollshaws, the beautiful but dangerous hills protecting one of the last elven strongholds in Middle-earth. In the last video, we left Aragorn and the hobbits as they crossed the last bridge at the end of the Lone Lands. The crossing happens without any signs of danger, and after continuing for about a mile on the Great East Road, the company enters a narrow ravine which leads northward from the road. Aragorn leads the hobbits through the hills dotted with threatening ruins from when the area was part of the kingdom of Rhudaur, mentioned in the last video. They trudge on for 4 days, after which Aragorn realizes they have gone too far north and are nearing the Etten Moors. Eventually, they cross a steep stone ridge and continue eastward and back towards the road. The northern part of the Trollshaws in the game is fittingly dotted with old ruins and definitely evokes the uneasy feeling described in the Lord of the Rings books. After walking towards the southeast, the company passes a large stone door hanging on its hinges. One of the hobbits scouts ahead and warns the company that there are trolls nearby. Eventually they find 3 stone trolls in a glade, and Aragorn remarks that a bird's nest would have been a very odd decoration for a live troll. Apparently the company have accidentally crossed the exact place where Bilbo had his first major adventure, which encourages the hobbits. Both the door to the troll's lair and the trolls themselves are present in the game, all the way down to the bird's nest behind one of the troll's ears. Aragorn and the hobbits continue along. They even find the stone which marked the burial spot of the troll treasure, where Bilbo and the dwarves made a long-term deposit. This stone itself is unfortunately not present in the game though. Eventually, the company is found by an elf called Glorfindel in the wilds, and he puts Frodo on his horse, and the horse races to the river Bruinen near Rivendell. During this flight, Frodo is chased by several Nazgul who have picked up his trail. Glorfindel and the others chase after the Nazgul, and while the Black Riders are halted by the raging waters of the Bruinen, the company chases them with a fire they made right next to the ford. The Black Riders' horses run into the water and all of them are swept away. You can still find a small pyre in the woods near the ford, which is a remnant of the fire they made during this encounter. After the wraiths are washed away by the flood, Frodo falls from his horse and he remembers no more. He sleeps for 4 nights and 3 days. He lingers in an unpleasant dream. At the edge of memory. And eventually he awakens in Imladris, also known as Rivendell. Soon after awakening, he meets Bilbo again in the Hall of Fire, inside the last homely house of Lord Elrond. After the Secret Council, Frodo is tasked with destroying the ring, but before the Fellowship can leave, the surrounding lands need to be scouted to search for any dangers. Ultimately, the hobbits stay for 2 months in Rivendell. When the company departs, Aragorn is given Andúril, the Flame of the West, reforged from the shards of Narsil, which cut the ring of the hand of Sauron. The reforging of the sword of Narsil is featured in an instance in the game, where you can see the sword being given to Aragorn. The Fellowship travels through the Trollshaws from Rivendell, and while traveling through steep paths they are battered with icy winds and they eat cold meals in silence. They travel by night to avoid being seen by the spies of the enemy. After a fortnight, the Fellowship passes into new land, filled with ancient holly trees. They marvel at the mountains they see, and Sam wonders whether or not they are soon to reach their destination. The Trollshaws in LOTRO are a beautiful but dangerous area, and it's filled to the brim with little details. Let's have a look at the other hidden details in the map. Like I mentioned previously, many scouts were sent ahead when the hobbits were staying for 2 months in Rivendell. The player character is sent on a quest to find traces of the Black Riders near the Bruinen. You search along the river and eventually you find a dead black horse far away in the woods. A clear sign the danger is not yet over, as this horse could not have gone all the way over there while being swept away in the flood. So its rider must still be alive and in the area. Inside the Trollshaws is an area called the Lost Temple. Inside this temple a gaunt man called Verendur the Virulent must be defeated. This gaunt man is one of 5 spread throughout Eriador, and they are meant as a horrific mockery of the 5 wizards. During the quests you find out the inhabitants of Rhudaur, which this fortress was once a part of, made a deal with Verendur in exchange for an infectious weapon to use against their enemies. This weapon would eventually cause the downfall of the people in the Lost Temple. This story is another clear reference to the corruption of the kingdom of Rhudaur by Angmar, like I explained in the previous video. And the location is quite unique for LOTRO, as it evokes a lot of jungle, Indiana Jonesy vibes inside the game. During the story quests in the Lone Lands, the player encounters creatures called bog lurkers. These creatures also feature in a quest in the Trollshaws, and here an elf explains what they are. These creatures are actually the Hounds of the tree elders the elves knew as the onodrim. A more familiar name to most players would be Ents. In The Hobbit, the 3 trolls that Bilbo encounters in the Trollshaws mention they have eaten about a village and a half in their journey down from the Etten Moors to the Trollshaws. This is referenced in the game in a quest called Bert, Tom and Bill, which is the names of the 3 trolls, given by a man called Garbert who has a cottage next to the river Bruinen. He mentions his grandfather's village was once ravaged by 3 trolls, after which his grandfather relocated to the current cottage he is living in. He asks you to find out about the troll's fate, and after talking to Bilbo, you reveal to the men that these trolls received a fitting punishment for their crimes. However, the troubles of Garbert are not quite yet over. Because Garbert has been seeing a horrific creature entering his child's bedroom in an attempt to steal his newborn baby. The player character helps Garbert lay a trap for this creature, and eventually you chase it into the hills. While the name of the creature is not revealed, at least not directly, an informed player will know this creature to be Gollum. This is because Gollum is on a mission to track the Fellowship and retake the ring if he can. This occurrence is also a reference to a story Gandalf tells to Frodo in Bag End at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring, where Gandalf explains he tracked Gollum and he heard rumors of the Beornings living near Mirkwood of a bloodthirsty creature looking for cradles to steal babies from. Thanks for watching this video, and a very special thank you to the LOTRO team, I suspect I have to thank Cordovan for this, for giving me a shout out on their social media channels. It's very encouraging to see my videos getting noticed, and I hope they continue to be entertaining for you all. So thank you so much for subscribing, and well, we've just passed the 100, so I hope we'll get to 1000 someday. See you in the next video.